So to that point, we're going to go to the Western Hotline and chat about the players that the Sabres have acquired. Chad DeDominicis joins us on the Western Hotline. He of Expected Buffalo. You can, of course, subscribe to everything they do at Expected Buffalo, expectedbuffalo.com, and podcasts and post games. Chad, good morning. We're ready to talk about a couple players that the Sabres have acquired.
Good morning, guys.
So how about Carrick? That one's not been confirmed yet, right? The Sabres confirmed the Winnipeg trade, but they have not yet confirmed the Sam Carrick trade in a deal with the Rangers. But the early reaction I got to the Rangers trade with Sam Carrick was that Rangers fans like him, and this guy will help them win faceoffs.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I talked to a fellow Rangers writer in the piece he put out last night, and that was pretty much the sentiment. Faceoffs, fourth line guy, underrated speed, forechecker. It kind of, if you think about it, it's a lot of what has made the Sabres different this year is the forechecking, the speed, the tenacity on the puck, and being on top of it. So he brings all of that. He can kill penalties. The faceoff thing is important. He does that. He can play some wing too if he needs to, so he's flexible. That's the nice thing about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a true depth fourth line player that, you know, it's not flashy or fun or that exciting, but I think it's something they really needed. I think their fourth line, while it's had its moments, hasn't really been that great for most of the season. And this is a guy you can plug in. To me, he feels like a direct Danforth replacement that they were hoping they were getting that out of him. And then with the injury, you know, and it's still lingering, Carrick kind of steps in and replaces that.
Think it could mean anything for Greenway too? Maybe we were already heading this direction anyway, that he might not be able to play regularly the rest of the season?
Yeah, I thought when it was happening with him again around the Olympic break that coming out of it or during it, we were going to hear like, all right, he's done, season's over. So he hasn't really been on the ice with them, and I don't know, he's had 2 hernia surgeries. It's still not right. I sort of feel like you might just want to get that fixed, but you know, yeah, I don't anticipate him playing many games, especially when you see the roster is starting to stack up at here.
Chad DeDominicis on the Western Hotline. Chad, the 2 pieces acquired from Winnipeg, defenseman Luke Schenn and also defenseman Logan Stanley. What are the Sabres getting in these 2?
So Schenn is the veteran, 36 years old, right shot defenseman. You know, there's being nice, I don't think there's a lot left in the tank there. For me, it seems like he's probably your new 7th defenseman. I don't anticipate him playing many games, but what he does in the room, the playoff experience, I think having that veteran isn't something that should be overlooked. And also, it just builds depth. I mean, if you have injuries and you have, you know, you don't want to get into Rochester guys, you have a guy who's played in the league, who's played playoff games, and you could throw him in there if you need it. So I'm not overly focused on what he's going to bring because I just don't anticipate he's going to play a ton. Stanley, on the other hand, is probably, if everything goes well, going to be one of your top 6 regulars. You know, I'm not going to hide it that I don't love it.
It's okay.
You know, he's a big defenseman, 6'7", hits, physical. You know, if you want a guy who will fight and defend his teammates, that is Stanley. You know, defensively, there's some good things around the net. He's good in that regard. He's obviously very size, good on the wall. That helps. And I think if they're looking to get, you know, more physical and a little bit more, I don't know if they need more size, but maybe they thought they did, on defense, you know, that's what you get there. But this year he's having one of his best offensive season. So, I mean, there's that part of it, but he's also an unrestricted free agent. You can kind of throw in, well, that might just be a free agent season kind of thing, and he's shooting like 12%, which is very unlike him. So there's a little bit of offense there, but I don't think he moves well enough to be that impactful. He moves good for 6'7", but maybe not what a Lindy Ruff system would want. And then the passing is really what scares me a little bit. The exits are not good. Throughout his career, they have not been good. But, I mean, this is a guy who's playing right now 20 minutes-ish this season with the injuries Winnipeg has had. Coming here, he's probably going to drop down to 13, 14. So if you can shelter him on a third-pair role, you probably can get by and be fine. The good news is if it doesn't go well, even though you gave up assets to get him, But if it doesn't go well, you have Timmins around and other options you can throw in there to replace him. Of course, like I said, it wouldn't be ideal to give up those assets and not play him, but I think in the right role, you're probably can find service there.
Do you feel like with these moves, kind of Jarmo doing the baseline work, like the little things that they needed to accomplish around the edges of the roster, that they could be done, or that what would be left to do would be something bigger?
I've gone back and forth on it last night and then again this morning just thinking about it. I would say logically they're probably done. You have your depth defenseman, you have your depth forward, but taking or having Winnipeg retain 50% of Schenn isn't nothing. I feel like that leaves them flexibility. I checked this morning, I think in however it works, their deadline cap space, they still have a little bit over $5 million they could squeeze in based on prorating. And they have all of their big assets that they were going to use for Thomas, that they were going to use for Parayko. They held those. They have them. Now, their draft capital's kind of depleted after yesterday. But they could if they wanted to. I still would say that they're probably done, but that leaves flexibility that they could. And the other thing, too, I feel like if you add something else, you're kind of bordering on tinkering a lot with a roster that's doing pretty well. That would be a fourth or maybe even fifth player, depending on what you do. That feels like a lot of tinkering.
Chad, with Parayko, real quickly before I let you go, Chad DeDominicis of Expected Buffalo, did you want that to happen? I mean, there were some that thought good idea, bad idea, term, money, and when Parayko says he won't come, were you of the belief that that's a bullet dodged? That good, glad they didn't do it. Those assets could be used on something better, or do you think he would have been a really nice fit for them?
I think in the short term, it would have made them definitely a better team than they are now with the moves that they've made. For the next year or two, I mean, he's a legitimate top four defenseman who could play up the lineup. Same thing. He has that size, that physicality. He's better than Logan Stanley, obviously. Yeah, I think in the short term, you are definitely a better team. And if you can make an argument, one of the best blue lines in the league. Long term, there was definitely concerns. The contract, the amount of money, the giving up of the assets too, where I feel like you're giving up significant assets for a position that has been a strength for your team. Didn't really sit well with me. Now, if you would have told me it's Parayko or Logan Stanley, I would have just bit on my shirt and took Parayko. But, obviously with him not waiving the no-move clause, then is what it is, and that's where you are now.
All right. Chad DeDominicis, expectedbuffalo.com to go to the site to subscribe, get your coverage of Sabres, Amherst, Bandit stuff in there, and we'll see if anything else comes from the deadline. Thanks, Chad.
All right, thanks, guys.
Chad DeDominicis, expectedbuffalo.com. They could still make a move.
They could.
They very well might be done, like Chad said. But I almost want to say, the way that Thomas and Parayko kind of came out of nowhere, Jarmo is known as an aggressive guy, and I imagine he's still open to something.
The fact they went after big names, and they are like I said with Chad a little bit, I think that's the only move left.
Big?
Yeah, you've done the tinkering stuff. What else would you do that's around the bottom of the roster? You've done it. The only thing left to do would be go make a big move. It also is funny, by the way, that Owen put together the numbers yesterday of how big their defense core would be with Colton Parayko, and I think it's actually even bigger. Right? Stanley's 6'7", 231. He's big.
Yeah, they picked up an extra inch and a couple pounds there, I think.
Nice.
It's crazy. It's a thing that that teams seem to think matters a lot, though. Like, a lot of the Stanley Cup winning decors have a lot of really tall, long guys with big, long sticks. And you hear guys talk about in the league, like, it is tough to get through a wall of guys that are that big because there's so much more reach there. It can matter a lot. And Stanley definitely brings a good bit of that.
803-0550, Jeremy and Joe. When we return, an encouraging stat on DJ Moore, whether you like the trade or are a little hesitant about it, there's a good stat on him and on what Joe Brady will have to rediscover in this offense that Moore can bring. That's next here on WGR.